Good morning. It is October the 19th, 2016, and time to kick off another trading day. As you can tell by looking at the markets, there was very little news to drive the markets overnight. The Chinese economic data came in pretty close to expectations. The Chinese economy is still on track to meet their goals, which is 6.5, 6.7% growth. And they're going to get there one way or the other. It'll either be on paper or it'll actually happen. So no news to drive the trading overnight. Equities were mixed with only in Asia with Hong Kong down and Japan and China up. In Europe, collectively up about 2%. And the E-mini overnight was, when I looked at it this morning, was up a point. So pretty quiet trading overnight. My guess is that the presidential debate will probably tend to hold the markets in check. I imagine if Trump happens to win the debate tonight, that the onslaught of more personal attacks and character assassination will double down tomorrow in tomorrow's news as they get after him. Those that are entrenched in power are going to do everything in their that they can to make sure that they stay in power, and they've got the cash and they've got the means and the wherewithal to do it. If Trump wins the election tonight, we'll probably see some downward pressure on the stock indexes that might carry over tomorrow. So my guess is we're looking at trading ranges today when it's all said and done. In the 10-year, 11 to 15, sell 1. 19 to 23, sell 2. On the buy side, got this volume down here at the buck. We got a dent at 4, so we'll make the buck to 04, buy 1. 25 to 29, buy 2. We do have some news this morning. Starts, housing starts. If I can find one, there it is. Pen. Called up 1.18 million, and in soft economies or recessions, that's what they go to. They go to starts. In booming economies, they look at permits to see what's to come. And 1.65 for permits. Atlanta Fed plus 1.9. Last night's APIs drew 3.8 million barrels. That was a surprise. Gasoline built, distillates drew, and the guesstimate for the our crude oil inventories is up 2.2 million for the EIA, plus 2.2. Now they've been paralleling or tracking the API numbers, so don't be surprised if we get a draw. But right now the official forecast is plus 2.2. That's the consensus. So anything under that would be supportive. And we also have contract expiration. November comes off the board tomorrow, and like we said, that tends to rally the market. So crude oil could be a factor today. If it rallies up, sometimes it'll take the E-mini with it. So again, not a whole lot going on today news-wise. My guess is that tonight's presidential debate will probably hold the markets in check. And we'll see if that happens. Okay, definitely have resistance in the 16 to 20 area, and perhaps 12 to 16 right now. So we'll make 12, 16, 1, 19 to 23, sell 1, 31 to 03, sell 2. On the buy side, D period rotation down was 28, so I'm guessing 28 to the buck is first support, so 21.25 buy 1. 9 to 13 buy 2. Gold was up overnight and was holding those gains when I looked early this morning, but let's go see what's happened in the interim. Still looking higher. So we've got the low volume area up here. The low volume number is 8160. We've got volume. The high volume number is 7710. We're at 72. So on the idea we can go a little higher, 74, 76, sell 1. 79.81, sell 2. On the buy side, so we'll make it 68 to 70. Come back in and pick up this area right here. Buy 1. And then buy 2, 64, 66. Basically buying 65 to 70 and selling 75s to 80s. Looking at the euro. Heavy. I think we're headed lower, so we'll put 975 buy 1. It's assumption. We've got to get through 110 though to make that happen. Then 950 by 2. So we got a question mark right here. 110 is a very round number. It could hold. They've already gotten stops below 110. So that is a possibility. 15 to 25, sell 1. And 40 to 50, sell 2. Crude oil, a couple of dynamics going. Last night's APIs surprised everybody. Crude was up and is pointed higher this morning. My guess is we'll trade higher. 40 to 50 cents is what we usually expect. Day session is at motors sideways into the EIA inventory announcement. Then anywhere from a 40 to a 70 cent price spike on the news. Then the market settles down after that. So there's good trading up until about 10, or reasonable trading, but we're going to look at lower volatility markets. So 51.75 is where resistance is right now. So 51.50, 51.75, sell 1. Goldman has told us that we're going to 53 before this is over. We had talked several weeks ago about stops above 50. We got that, and we're still pointed higher. So we have expiration dynamics driving the market right now. I'd like to buy against 51. May take a quarter to get in. See it right here. So we're going to start out on the cheap side, but it may take 51 and a quarter to get in. Give it a little room in case 51.50.75 does hold as resistance. And then 50 and a quarter, 50.50 for buy 2. Rich Genders does not trade on days like today. I find the trading reasonably good up until about a half hour before the news hits. And a little bit crazy, but we've got really pretty good volatility after the news does hit. And I don't mind that trading either. But if you're new to the game and preservation of capital. If your capital and time challenged, it's a pretty good day not to trade. And use it to build your experience base. Okay, the E-mini. E-mini's running into trouble at 40. We're got a pretty clean break, and we've drawn that break in the market. You can just see when you put a line across the charts right there how 40 plus or minus is reasonable resistance, as was 65 when you drew a line at 67 previously. So got buyers below 2110 for sure, and right now we structurally we have a seller at 2140. Looking at it on the F1 screen, you can see 4042 has been a little hard to get through. Put all this together, and so definitely a seller into 40 and a buyer of late 15 to 20. Trading range, and the Fed doesn't mind that. Keep it simple. So the first sell, we got stops above the overnight high at 35, so 35, 37, sell 1. 39.41, sell 2. Obviously, the 40 to 43 area, that's going to be number 1 resistance. That's going to be number 2. So 40 to 43 is prime sell territory. On the buy side right here, we've rejected prices below 32 right now, and we've got the 26. So 29 to 31, buy 1. And 24, 26 by 2. The idea that we have a trading range today. Starts 1.18. Permits 1.165. Atlanta business inflation was previously plus 1.9. That's probably reasonable. Looks like, I mean, even with the cooked numbers, inflation's running about 2%. If you're out there feeding yourself and renting or buying or something like that, it's higher than that. And then 2.2 million barrels for crude. Okay, we'll take a bit to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy on that. I will be back as soon as possible.